sit on a blanket like I'm doing. It'll just help you to keep your spine upright a little bit.
All right, so sit up tall as if there were a straight line from your tailbone up to the crown of your head, and then just keep ascending along that line. Bring your left arm behind you, bring your right hand to the top of your left knee. Inhale again, lift along that line, and then exhale, start to initiate the twist towards the left. And think of this twist as a spiral staircase. Each inhale, you're drawing up, you're ascending. Each exhale, you're revolving into the turn so that the whole left side of your chest starts to face the back wall. All right, keep filling the lungs with your inhales. All right, taking the breath right underneath the collarbones. And then take one more exhale to twist a little bit deeper without letting the lower back slump towards the back of your mat. And now stay in the twist. Inhale, bring your gaze back forward, and then unwind from the twist. All right, keep the spine long. Just go ahead and switch the legs. So it's always a good idea to switch things up. You might feel one hip's a little bit more open, one hip's a little bit looser. All right, and then bring the right arm behind you. Bring the left hand to the top of the right knee. Again, ascend up through the spinal column, and then exhale, rotate your chest towards the back wall. And notice if you've leaned towards the back of your sit bones, just lean a little bit more so you're grounded fully on those sit bones. They're like suction cups drawing into the ground. And then lift the right shoulder, the back shoulder, up and back. So that shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade, releases down your back as you lean it towards the back wall. Good. Take another inhale as if you could spread your collarbones a little bit wider into a little smile. And then inhale, release the head forward and unwind from the twist. Exhale. All right. We're going to shift positions. Come on to hands and knees. If you're on a blanket, just move the blanket aside. And we'll just start with the shoulders directly over the wrists. The hands are shoulder distance apart. So go ahead and set up this pretty simple foundation before there's a lot of weight on the hands. Separate your knees hips distance apart so your hips are directly over your knees. All right, let's warm up the spine. With your next inhale, take the chest forward, pulling the outer shoulders away from the ears. And then with your exhale, round the spine, release the neck straight down as the belly draws upward. Keep going. Inhale, no pausing between the breath. Chest forward, spine extends. Exhale, draw the belly up towards the spine. 3 more. So this is just about warming up the body and the breath so they start connecting with each other. All right? So if you can do this in this simple posture, this simple dynamic movement, you want to maintain that thread of the breath and the movement throughout the practice. Good. One more round. Deep inhale. Take the chest forward. The collarbones are still spreading as the inner hand roots. And then exhale, draw the belly up. Lengthen the back of the neck straight down. And then with your inhale, come back to a neutral spine. So neutral spine means not sinking in the back, but also not rounding. All right, we'll take an easy twist from here. Take your right hand, weave it underneath your left arm. That's it. And then come all the way onto the outer right shoulder. All right, so continue to breathe here. Sometimes in these twists, the diaphragm gets a little bit scrunched. So the breath is still drawing up on the inhale like a loud whisper. And you're exhaling completely and just dropping passively into this twist. Take one more round of breath here, breathing in and out through the nose. And then with your next inhale, come back to all fours. All right, arms straight. And then exhale, go right over to the second side. Weaving the left arm underneath the right arm. So most of you will feel a nice stretch on the outer left shoulder and the upper left side of your back on this side. And just notice if your hips are swaying to one side. Take that right outer hip straight back. Good. One more deep cycle of inhaling and exhaling. And then inhale, come back onto all fours. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Now walk the hands about 4 or 5 inches forward of the shoulders. And spread the fingers so until you feel the roots of all 10 fingers pressing down evenly into the mat, Tuck your toes under, lift the knees off the ground, and draw the hips up and back. Go ahead and start with the legs wide apart, so the pinky toes touching the outer edge of the mat. And just notice how this may give some of you a little bit more space in the hips. All right, so if the hamstrings are tight, you can do what I'm doing. You can bend the knees. That releases some of the tension on the hamstring muscle so that I can lengthen my spine even more. All right, take a couple of breaths here, lifting the very tops of the thighs. So those hip creases get really, really sharp, and there's less weight on the hands, the more weight you can drive back towards the legs. Walk your hands all the way back towards your feet until you're standing completely on the feet. And then once you're on the legs, hook the thumbs behind your back and take the arms overhead any amount. And again, if the hamstrings are tight, you can do what I'm doing and bend the knees. If this is too much to try to hook your thumbs behind your back, hold the strap between your arms. Good. Switch the cross of the thumbs. And then even if you take the arms overhead, make sure the shoulders are lifting away from the ears, so they're never scrunching around the ears. Take another deep exhale, empty the breath completely, soften the belly. And then release the thumbs, bring the hands back to the ground. Walk your hands back to the front of the mat, but still pulling the top thighs back, as if somebody were holding your hips and pulling them back as the arms come forward to down dog. All right, and then once you're in down dog, now bring the feet just hips distance apart. So that's only about 3 or 4 inches apart. Okay, and again, modify if you need to, putting a little bend in the knees if that helps to lengthen the entire spine. And with your next inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Shift the shoulders directly over the wrists. Now, if you find that all the weight is leaning towards your pinky finger, just hug the forearms towards each other until the inner hand roots, and then lift up to your biceps. That's it. Now take your chest forward, pull your lower navel up towards your sternum. The buttocks reach towards the heels. All right, so this first plank and chaturanga will modify. So we'll lower the knees to the ground. And as you lower the knees to the ground, just make it a shorter plank. So straight line from the shoulders to the knees. And then exhale, bend the elbows, come halfway down. Keep those elbow tips pointing straight back. And then inhale, straighten the arms. Lift the knees off the ground back to full plank. And then exhale, pull the hips up and back, down dog. All right, we'll do that again. Inhale, come forward to plank. Lower the knees to the ground, shortening the plank. Exhale, come halfway down to chaturanga with the knees on the ground. Take the shoulders away from the ears. And then come all the way down to your belly. All right, once you're all the way down, point your toes. So all 10 toenails are pressing evenly into the ground. Interlace your hands behind your back. Okay, and now buttocks lengthen towards the heels. Stretch back through your big toes, make your big toes longer. Inhale, curl your chest up. Just take the gaze down to the ground. We're trying to lift the sternum, not stretch the chin forward. And then exhale, slowly release. Switch the interlace of your fingers. Inhale, come right back up. Second cobra. Good. Again, if this is going to your lower back, more buttocks towards the heel. So lengthen out of the back waist. And then exhale, slowly release. Come down. Undo the hands. Bend the elbows. And then move the wrists approximately underneath your elbows. And that's it. So the wrists are next to the floating ribs. All right. Preparing for up dog. Root down through the inner hand. You'll find that that brings the elbows closer together. Inhale, start to roll your chest off the ground as if you could telescope your ribs forward. Start to straighten the arms. Press the thighs up towards the ceiling. Glue your shoulder blades onto your back. Good. One more inhale. Lift up through the top of your sternum. And then exhale. Draw the belly up and back as you shift back to down dog. From down dog, bend your knees, walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, come halfway up. Now, if your hamstrings are tighter, I want you to hold the sides of the shins. Make lengthening the spine the priority here. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, arms out to the side as you come up. And then turn the arms so the palms face up as you lift the arms. And then exhale. Arms down by your side, Tadasana. Okay, starting in Tadasana, we'll go through our Sun Salutations A, Classical Surya Namaskar A. Watch me for the modifications because I'll be modifying it. Really good if you're developing upper body strength or are new to this. With your inhale, take the arms forward, lift them straight overhead. With your exhale, tip the pelvis over the tops of the thighs as you fold Uttanasana. Inhale, come halfway up, hands can be on the shins. On your exhale, Chaturanga, Papa will jump back, I'm stepping to plank, knees down, coming down. Inhale, curl your chest up. Papa's an up dog, I'm staying in Cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under and press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. So you can hold down dog anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths. Again, the breath stays steady even as you hold this posture. At the end of your next exhale, when you're ready, you're gonna bend your knees, lift the heels, either step or hop the feet forward. The next inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, reach the arms. And then exhale, arms down by your side. Round 2, inhale, lift the arms up. And make sure as you lift the arms up, the shoulders are releasing away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold completely. Hinging deep, right at this hip crease. Inhale, come halfway up. Look forward with your chest, and then step or jump back to Chaturanga, elbows over the wrist. Nice. And then inhale, as you come up into the up dog, the shoulders pull straight back. Exhale, press back to down dog. Hold here for several breaths. And again, each time you come back to your down dog, check to make sure those hips are driving back and that the breath is nice and steady and your gaze is just soft between your feet. The heels are disappearing right behind the second toe. Take one more deep breath here. At the end of your exhale, at the place of no breath, bend the knees, step or hop, feet forward. Inhale right into the Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Root down through the feet even as you lift up through the arms. And then with your exhale, arms down by your side. All right, continuing on. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge deeply, release the neck down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Ardha means half. Bend your knees, step back to plank pose on this round or jump back to Chaturanga. Inhale into Cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, press back to down dog. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up. Now, the tendency is for the pelvis to spin open. So I really want you to focus on this standing thigh and pull that hip straight back. And lift from the inner thigh of the lifted leg. All right. And then with your next exhale, step the right foot all the way through between your hands. That's it. And if that foot doesn't come all the way forward, physically pick up the foot and bring it forward. Turn your back foot down at an angle. So the whole outer edge of the back foot is sealed to the mat. Heel toe your front foot a little bit to the left. So there's a straight line from your front heel to the arch of the back foot. I'm going to use a block. We're going to bring the right forearm on the inside of the right shin and then open the chest to the left. That's it. So as I turn my spine open, I'm hugging my right hip underneath me. As I hug the right hip underneath me, I'm still pressing this thigh straight back. Good. One more breath here. Lengthen the bottom waist. Turn the chest up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring both hands to the ground. Step back to plank, move the block off to the side, go right back to down dog. Second side, inhale, lift the left leg up. Remember to keep the standing thigh drawing back. Exhale, step the left foot all the way between your hands. Turn the back heel down at an angle. Heel toe your front foot, so again, it lines up with the arch of your back foot. A good place to start for most of us. Bring the left arm on the inside of the left shin. Turn your chest open towards the right. And again, use the leverage of this forearm against this shin to really hug this hip underneath you. And then it's easier to see from the back body, but the whole back waist shifts towards the heel of the back foot. That's it. And then one more breath. spread the space between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, both hands come down to the mat. This time we'll take a vinyasa, step back to plank pose. Exhale, lower to chaturanga or down to the belly. Inhale, cobra or up dog, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. And then moving on, inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bring the right foot all the way through. Spin your back heel down. Heel toe your front foot, so it's heel to arch. Keep a deep bend in this front knee. Inhale, come right up into Warrior Two. And as you come up into Warrior Two, make sure the front of your belly is lifted, all right? That easily drops forward in a lot of us, especially the bendier folks, all right? And then arms straight out to the side. Rotate the arms so the palms face up. With your inhale, lean back into a reverse warrior. So deep side bend here. And then inhale, come back up to Warrior Two. Rotate the arms so the palms face down. Exhale, shift forward. And now bring the right hand on the outside of the right ankle or onto the block. Reach the left arm straight up to the ceiling. Good, lean the chest open. Now turn that top arm so the palm faces the front of the room, towards the front of your mat, and then take the arm overhead, as if the arm were an extension of the back foot. So straight line of energy from this back heel all the way up to this left pinky finger. The tricep is wrapping down towards your face. And then inhale, come all the way back up to Warrior Two. And then from here, we'll just cartwheel the hands down to the ground, spin onto the ball of the back foot, step back to plank, and then we'll shift right back to down dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, bring the left foot all the way through between the hands. Root to the back heel. Heel toe your front foot so it lines up with the arch of the back foot. Bend deeper into the front knee. Inhale, come right up into Virabhadrasana 2. That's it. So descend right at the top of the left thigh, and then turn your chest to face the side wall without letting that front knee cave in. Good. And then rotate the arms so the palms face up. Inhale, lean back into the reverse warrior without letting that back leg collapse. Inhale, come back up to Warrior Two. Rotate the arms so the palms face down. And we're turning from the shoulder head. Exhale, shift forward. Left hand on the outside of the left ankle or on the ground. Right arm straight up to the ceiling. Good. Rotate the top arm. Turn that arm from the shoulder joint and then reach the arm overhead as if it were connected to the back foot. Exhale, turn a little bit deeper. Hug the left hip underneath you while you press the right leg straight. Inhale, come back up to Warrior Two. Gaze over your left middle finger. And then with your exhale, hand circle to the ground. Spin onto the ball of the back foot. Step back to plank pose. Exhale to chaturanga or to your belly. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Lift the sternum. Exhale, down dog. Okay, as we hold down dog, again, make sure that your palms are rooted firmly on the ground because we're about to put more weight on the hands. So try doing this. Firm the triceps in so the elbows straighten. At the same time you do that, try to split them out wider with your hands. All right, so balance those two actions, and then with your next inhale, come forward to plank pose. All right, and then once you're in plank pose, see that the shoulders are right above the wrists, and we're coming into side plank pose. The right hand will stay down. You'll tip over onto the outer edge of your right foot. Papa's doing the full version. I'm going to do the modification with the right shin on the ground. Reach the left arm straight up to the ceiling. So as you root down through the bottom hand, rebound up through the top arm. And the whole back waist, the buttocks is chasing the heel of the straight leg. And now turn the top arm, just like we did in side angle pose, reach that arm overhead. Now, if you're steady here, if you can keep the front body in the same plane as the back body, maybe take a little bit of a side bend. Good. One more breath here. The side bend is really strengthening for your oblique muscles. With your next inhale, bring the top arm back up. Both hands come back to the ground. We're back in plank pose, and we'll give our wrists a little break by shifting right back to down dog. Take as much time as you need here. Take a child's pose if you need to. And then right into the second side. Inhale, come forward to plank. Resist the ground. Push it away from you. And then lean onto the outer edge of the left foot. Stack the feet if you're doing the full pose, or lower the left shin to the ground. It's a little bit easier to see from the back. My whole back waist is lengthening towards the back, the heel of the straight leg. The top arm stretches straight up to the ceiling. Now deeply turn that top arm so the palm faces the front of your mat, and then take that arm overhead. Good. Without that rotation, the shoulder head crunches up around the ear. So we want to keep that space there. And then if you're steady, you can start to take a little bit more of a side bend, lifting the hips higher away from the ground, still lengthening the buttocks towards the heel. So back waist long, lengthen here. Nice. And then the top arm comes back up. Both hands come back to the ground, steady. And this time we'll take a vinyasa. Slowly lower, chaturanga or onto the belly. Point your toes, inhale, open up the chest. Think of this as a front stretch. Exhale, tuck the toes under, press back to down dog. Back to our standing poses. Inhale, lift the right leg up, keep the arms firm. Exhale, step the right foot all the way through. Turn the back foot down at an angle. Heel toe the front foot a little bit to the left. Heel to arch. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Rotate the arms, palms face up. Inhale, lean back into the reverse warrior. Okay, so another side bend, just like we did in Vashisthasana. Keep leaning back with the upper body, and then inhale, straighten the front leg. As you straighten the front leg, keep the big toe mound of that front foot on the ground. And now inhale, bring your torso straight upright. Turn the palms to face down. Legs stay straight. Exhale, start hinging at your hip, right here at that hip crease where the thigh meets the pelvis, and then release the hand to a block or to the outer shin, the left arm straight above. All right, and now make the priority here lengthening your bottom waist so that you maintain an even spine. We're not trying to side bend in this version of triangle pose. All right, and then spread the arms. Lean the chest open. Hug this bottom hip underneath you, the right hip. All right, bend your front knee. Keep the chest staring up to the ceiling, but look down to the ground. And then hop your back foot in closer. Move your bottom hand, the right hand, either on the block or the ground about 6 inches in front of your pinky toe. Scoop the right hip underneath you even more firmly, and then lift onto the tiptoes, and then start to float the back leg off the ground. Half moon. All right, breathe. So even in these transitions, you're breathing as much as you would when you're in the pose. Now, shave this standing hip straight back, just like you did in the side plank pose. The back body reaches towards the heel of the straight leg, and then lean the chest open. Good, touch the ceiling with the top fingers. Good, relax your eyes. And then both hands come down to the ground. Turn the pelvis to level. Yeah. And then as the hips come back to level, take that standing outer hip back. All right, and then step all the way back to your high lunge. Keeping your spine nice and long. Yeah, the chest still reaches forward, and then flatten the palm, step back to plank pose. Shift right back to down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, second side. Exhale, step the left foot all the way through between your hands. Pivot the back foot down at an angle. Line up your front heel with the back arch. Already start to hug the left hip underneath you, and then inhale, come all the way up into the second warrior. All right, this is really good to open up the inner groin of the front leg. All right, lift your lower belly. So notice if your pelvic bowl dumps forward. Take the buttocks straight down. Rotate the arms so the palms face up. Inhale, lean back into your reverse warrior. Lift out of the side waist, even as you go into this back bend, side bend. Now keep leaning back, and then slowly inhale, straighten the front leg, as if there were a zipper on the side of that leg that you were lifting up. Keep the leg straight. Inhale, come all the way up with your torso. Turn the arms so the palms face down. And then exhale, start to lean the torso forward, hinging right at this hip crease where the pelvis meets the thigh. Keep this bottom waist extending, and then lower the left arm to the block or to the outer shin, right arm straight up to the ceiling. So the action we're trying to reinforce is revolving this outer thigh underneath, revolving it underneath. And at the same time, this leg is pressing straight back, so the hips aren't bulging forward. That's it. And then we want to lengthen both sides of the waist. If you find that you're going into a back bend, soften the front ribs. All right. Are we ready to balance? Gaze down to the ground. Bend your front knee. Keep that left hip underneath you like a retaining wall. Hop your back foot in closer. You're still breathing. Move the left hand either on the ground or the block, about 6 inches forward of the pinky toe. And then slowly float the back leg off the ground, shifting the weight to the heel of the standing foot. So if you find that the toes are gripping on the ground, that's it. Yeah. I find that it's more steady if the bottom hand is more in line with the pinky toe than the front of the foot. So move the bottom hand a little bit to the left. That's it. All right. And then once you've stabilized, tailbone lengthens towards the back heel. And now reach up through the top arm. Make the pose a little bit lighter. Good. One more breath. Press this standing shin towards the same wall you're facing. And then both hands come down to the ground, steadily, slowly. The hips square off, so the right toes are now pointing down to the ground. Step all the way back to your high lunge. Hands on the ground, step back to plank pose. This time we'll go through a vinyasa. Exhale, down to the belly, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take several breaths here. Smooth out the vinyasa of your breath if it got a little bit ragged. And at the end of your next exhale, bend your knees a lot. Spring load your feet. Gaze between your thumbs and either step or hop the feet between the hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, spine long. Exhale, fold, empty the belly. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Lift the arms, Uttita Hasta, and then exhale, arms down by your side, Tadasana. All right, let's step out to the left. We've done a lot of hip openers now. All right, we've done a lot of core strengtheners. We're gonna add that all up for a standing balancing pose. So go slow, go easily here. If you have any sort of ankle issues, you can do this with your butt against the wall. All right, so we'll start by lifting the arms up. And just take a tiny bend in your knees to make sure that the weight shifts towards the heels. And now go ahead and bring your right ankle above your left knee as you turn that right thigh out to the side. All right, and then slowly start to hinge a little bit deeper at your hips. As you start to hinge at the hips, cut that outer left hip straight back. And then maybe sit a little bit deeper, keeping the spine long. Good, make sure you're still engaging your abdominal muscles so those front ribs aren't poking out. 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, slowly come back up. Release the right foot next to the left foot, and then lower the arms. All right, second side. Inhale, take the arms up. Bring the left ankle above the right knee. Put a little bend in the knees first. Make sure the weight is in the heels. And then slowly start to sit. Hinging right here at the hips. Drawing the right hip straight back. Straighten the arms. Good, wrap the palms to face each other. Breathe. That's the hard part. Good, 2 more breaths. Go to your edge without any pain in this knee right here. And then inhale, slowly come back up to stand. And then release. Arms down by your side. So amazing pose to open up the hips and also to focus you because you're working so hard to balance. All right, we'll come back to the front of the mat. Feet together, heels can be slightly apart. Arms down by your side. Inhale, take the arms forward and up, palms face each other. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or jump back, going through Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under and press back to Down Dog. Okay. And then after one more full breath here, bottom of the exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Keep the hips high as you step or hop the feet forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Arms reach. And then exhale, arms down by your side. Tadasana. Okay, we'll step back out to the side, to the left, and have the feet now about 3.5 feet apart. So make sure that the toes are pointing straight ahead. And I like to look at the outer edges of my feet to see that they're parallel. Hands on the hips. All right, so think of this pelvis as a bowl. You don't want one hip dropping lower than the other. You want to keep some tone to your belly. Inhale, lengthen your side ribs. Exhale, hinge forward, come halfway down, and then place the fingertips underneath the shoulders. All right, so if you have tighter hamstrings, absolutely fine to have the hands on blocks here. All right, and if you're very mobile in your lower back, make sure you're not sinking those ribs down. Keep the lower ribs contained. From here, walk your hands right next to each other so they're under your face. That's it. Keep the chest reaching forward. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Inhale, lengthen your spine, just like what we did when we were sitting down at the beginning. And then exhale, rotate your chest towards the right. So have the right side of your chest stare up to the ceiling, and then maybe reach the right arm up to the ceiling. Any amount, and then lean and extend your spine open. Good. Keep the weight on the heels. And Papa's doing a really nice job of keeping his pelvis level. Now, if you have lower back sensitivity and this is too much load on your lower back, you can let this left hip drop a little bit. But if your lower back is okay, keep the hips level. All right, and then with your next exhale, release the right arm next to the left arm. We'll go right to the second side, left hand to the left hip. Inhale, reinforce the length of the spine, and then exhale, revolve the chest towards the left. All right, so this hip will want to drop. Resist that by pressing the outer left hip in. Left arm up to the ceiling. Good, lean the chest open. Breathe. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Good, one more breath. And then exhale, both hands come down to the ground. All right, hands come to your hips. And inhale from the pit of your belly, draw all the way up. Interlace the hands behind your back. Now, if it's too much to interlace the hands, you can hook thumbs like we did at the beginning, or you can hold the strap behind your hands. Inhale, lift your chest, and then exhale, forward fold. This is Prasarita Padottanasana C. All right, so keep the feet active. The inner arches of the feet are lifted. The outer ankles are firming in towards each other. The arms can go overhead any amount. This is a big stretch of the front of the shoulders. Release the neck straight down, and then even as the arms reach forward, the shoulders lift away from them, so there's no scrunchiness around this part of the neck. All right, take one more breath here. Empty the breath completely, and then inhale, come all the way up to stand. Bring the hands to the hips, bend your knees, step the feet together, and then come back to the front of the mat. Tadasana. Arms down by your side. Good. Buttocks lengthen towards the heels as you gently press the top thighs back. Move the shoulder heads back so the chest stays broad. Inhale, lift the arms up. And then exhale, forward fold. Lengthening the spine down towards the ground. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Remember, you can bend your knees, step or jump back. Going through the vinyasa. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under, press back to down dog. From here, we're going to come to a seated position. Some of you may be comfortable bending the knees and jumping all the way through to a seated position. Others of you will lower the knees to the ground and simply swing your legs forward. That's it. Okay. Navasana. Start with your knees bent and feet flat on the ground. Bring your hands behind you on the ground. Papa, walk your hands back a little bit further beyond your fingertips. Come up onto your fingertips. That's it. And now lift your chest and shrug your shoulders back. Good. And then start here if you have a lower back sensitivity. Otherwise, hands come behind your knees. Hold the backs of your knees. Papa, hold the backs of your knees. And then lean back a little bit with the chest and then float the legs off the ground. Reach the arms forward. Feel free to keep your knees bent or you can straighten the legs for full Navasana. Breathe. And then with your next exhale, come onto your lower back for Ardha Navasana. Inhale, come right back up, full Navasana. Remember, you can bend your knees. Now bend your knees, feet on the ground. Cross one ankle in front of the other. For this first one, hug your knees in tight towards your chest. So you make a compact little ball with your body. Now keep the knees hugging in. So this is all about how much you can bend the knees and the hip creases. Bring your hands to the ground or to the blocks. Now root down through your inner hand, take your elbows straight back. Inhale, lift up. Maybe you just lift the hips up and then add the feet and then set it down. All right. And then one more round, Navasana, boat pose. Everyone in the boat, you can keep the knees bent or straight. And then exhale onto your lower back for Ardha Navasana. Inhale, come back, Navasana, bend, cross the other ankle in front. Draw the knees in, hands on the ground or on the blocks. Inhale, pick up whatever you can, and then set it down. All right, and then come forward onto hands and knees. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders, right back to down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. And with your exhale, step the right foot all the way through between your hands. Okay, take your chest forward and then lower your left knee to the ground. Now, if you have sensitive knees, this would be
it's 17 hours.
Your mat or grab a thick towel or a blanket and place it under the back knee. Okay, and go ahead. Now, this might be enough for you, and if it is, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, bend the left knee, flatten the left palm to the ground, reach behind with your right hand and hold the inner ankle of your left foot. If you're able to grab that foot, maybe draw it a little bit closer towards the left buttock and then turn your chest towards the right. Lean the chest open if that's comfortable for you. Good. Now, if you don't feel much here, you can always lunge a little bit deeper into that front leg. Good. One more breath. This is a great way to stretch out the tops of your thighs, the quads. Slowly release the foot. Careful not to slingshot that shin down to the ground. Bring both hands back to the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Straighten the back leg. Step back to plank pose.
There's one simple kissing technique any woman can use to make a man beg to be her boyfriend. It's really very simple. First, you'll
Thể dục là quà, thể thao cũng vậy. Tim còn đập, phải còn yêu thương.
Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde Sandarshita Swatma Sukhavabodhe Nishrayase Jandadikai Mane Samsara Hana Hana Moha Shantye Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasi Dharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shretam Pranamami Patanjalim Om Ekam, inhale, arms up. Dve, exhale. Trini, inhale, head up. Chatwari, jump back. Pancha, inhale. Shan, exhale. Ujjayi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sapta, jump. Inhale. Ashto, exhale. Nava, inhale, arms up. Samastiti. Ekam, inhale. Dve,